All right.
Right, 16 September 2020, and I'm joined by Dr. Clarence from Harare. How are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and I'm very delighted to have you here for the first time when we're discussing such an important topic.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yes. So the first question I wanted to ask you before we go into the discussion is, what is the situation like in Zimbabwe at the moment?
The situation in Zimbabwe is as usual. I can say it's normal. It's not really good. Kune vanhu vari kuharaswa kana kuti kune madhirama ari kuitika. No. Things are normal. Are as normal. You know, our normal is already abnormal.
Yes.
So it is. So far, there's say no, we're not in a state of civil war. Like, things are as usual.
Okay.
But of course, we hear this activist is saying this activist is saying this here and there. Isolated cases, really isolated cases. That is what's on the ground.
Right. And in terms of survival, are people hungry? Is there unemployment? What is the situation like out there?
There is unemployment yakawandisa, but we also have another problem apart from politics. The mindset of most ordinary Zimbabwean, when a victim mentality, you know, and entitlement, trying to wait for somebody, some messiah, to come and rescue them. You know, and people are sitting and life is passing them by.
Okay.
Because of our mentality.
But is it possible to
really? Yes.
Is it possible to make it in Zimbabwe as it is? Can you succeed in Zimbabwe?
It is possible to make it, but by design, people who live in low density suburbs, by design, they're jealous people with pull down mentality. You know, people fight each other, people steal from each other. You know, rumors in Indo cannibalism. That's why you see Zimbabweans, they don't even support their own. Farming, support him. Green in a box, support him. You know, local people who are selling stuff online, supporting our own. Why? Because by design, tiri jealous and it's a pull down mentality. I'm just trying to be humble.
Okay.
Yeah, so that pull down mentality, even in the political fraternity, we've seen a lot of new activists rising to the scene. Real activism, people we see taking action, like real action. Then you see some people on the limelight, then they have to do something. Because we have people who are into activism, not for the sake of activism, but who are into activism to make money from activism. I would call them beggars. We have real, then we have beggars. You know.
Okay. So we have those people who are in Zimbabwe, who are genuine, and those who are using attention to get money.
Yes.
Okay. How do we separate these two? Is Joanna Mamombe, Netsai Marova, and Cecilia Chimbiri in that group?
What we need to do on anybody, we should look at history. what were they doing in the past 5 years, 10 years? What did they do? Incidents like this, akamboitika here. And we have an issue like this, job scholar issue. You know, February, akasungwa pangotika ka flash mob ke vanhu vashoma February, then ipapa mamanje. It's like a trend. Kuti pagore munandosika 3 anoita that same cycle of doing things, right? Of course, he may be a real activist. And when I'm saying, of course, he may be a real activist, I'm just saying what people want to hear. And by just saying that, I think those who are supposed to understand, they've understood, right? Claiming abuse, claiming so. But looking all well up. Are these people being made popular for some future agenda? Or they are really doing activists? They are really doing acting? You see, at the end of the day, also, it is the majority of Zimbabweans that suffer. Lockdown is tightened, you know, because of few individuals who call up a thing, then they go into hiding, right? Repeating what was happening in the colonial era, right? 5 years, 10, 15 years. Panobuda mjerana vanza wa hero. Nemuna amsunga. Da yo a hero. Wakasunga 5 years. Akadaiza chino. Vanhu ita zvakati iye wanda. Uvanzi hero. I don't know kuti munhu anodaiza vanhu kuti ita zvakati asiri kuenda kumberi. Hero here kana kuti hero as in pa mindset yake kuti iye ndiye hero ari kuitisa vanhu madrama.
Okay. So Muruguti, there are some dramas.
Yes.
Okay. You are saying, for example, people like Job Scholar, they are doing dramas to get attention. How come they're in jail?
Job Scholar, there is another story. Job Scholar, every time there is a rumor protest in Zimbabwe, every time he's arrested. Nyango asina kuita anything because anonzi ane training yakaita yakada kufanana yakaitwa naMnangagwa. Some say espionage. I don't know about that, but every time pakunoitwa protest he is arrested, ozobudiswa after protest kana papa vanotaurwa ngekini nyaya yekuti panoitwa protest. But the recently ended Zimbabwe Lives Matter, before it was Zimbabwe Lives Matter, the recently ended protest. Did you notice nobody was owning it? Nobody was owning it. It then seems like some people are opportunistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go to recent abductions. So
yes,
when I'm talking of abductions, I'm talking about people who were taken and who came out after a while. There's Dr. Peter Magumbe, there's Gonyeti, there's Tawanda Mchehiwa, there's an MDC youth leader, I've forgotten his name, from Bulawayo. This is only in the past 6 months. Okay, let's say a year to the recent past. Are all these people faking these abductions?
Yes.
Are they faking these people?
All right. Let's start with Dr. Magombe. Network yangu ichidakwadakwa kuiona kuti kune vanhu vari evil vanongotakisa network, and I deliberately mentioned them. Let's talk about Dr. Magombe. Dr. Magombe, when he was allegedly missing, right? They gave a number, those guys. They gave a number to contact anybody with information or anybody who is willing to help. Then I called the number. Then I said, no, the person can be tracked even if the phone is off and even if the battery is out of the phone. Instantly, they seemed not interested in that. Just like that. Just like that, they seemed not interesting. Then we also take a look at my factors. Is this person worth abducting? When we're talking about ZANU-PF, but to the party in a saga, to the party in a professor, in a strategist, vanhu vanokwanisa kuitisa mabritish chaiwo, you know, kune ma-strategists, they just don't bother about some people who are not even big, because if they do so, they'll be making that person big. So we have to look also, is this person worth abducting, who is claiming to have been abducted?
Okay.
All right. Then Joanna Mamombe and those girls. Pananya comes I think in 16 years. I mean, some young lady who was doing some protests concerning again now constitution amendment. We saw the footage on Twitter. We saw the footage on Facebook. But Joanna Mamombe, we did not see their footage. We did not see their stuff. And those are people who are in parliament. When they go in parliament, right, all they can do is not stand from Nangagwa, make noise, demand their cars and their fuel. They don't bring those issues right in parliament, because when they're in parliament, they are busy representing themselves. So as much as Thokozani Kupe is a devil, or rather an evil, and it's not slipping of time, as much as she is, that fight is not necessary now. It is not. It's a waste of time, resources, and resources. Next election is coming, right? People will know that next time at die. But it's not an issue right now.
Okay, so
it seems like all right. So it seems like sadism, you know, just complaining.
Yeah.
How are you going to lead?
Okay. So you are saying these people who were abducted, they are non-entities, or they
most
are
of them
trying to get attention. Yes, they're trying to get attention. So I want to give you the names of the recent ones. We said there is Dr. Peter Magombe, who was abducted. We have Gonyeti. We have Namata Kwekweza. She was arrested. She was not abducted. We have Tsitsi Dangarembwa. We've got Fadzai Mahere. We've got, I think the case of Gonyeti was very strange for me, because Gonyeti is not a politician. Yes. So you're saying these people are non-entities, and ZANU-PF would not abduct these people because there's no benefits to abducting them.
Right. On the part of Gonyeti, Gonyeti Nentango Fanana, we are people in the same industry, right? So I respect her as an artist. She's good at what she does, but I always speak the truth. Gonyeti Pagata abducted, and Takamona, after that incident, I'm going to shoot her ku funeral kwa Mugabe. And G40, I mean, right? Just after frontline access, backstage access, right? Then comedy. Now this is some common sense which is not common. I do comedy. I also mock and insult, right? When you make comedy, making a parody or a satire of a real life event, what you are simply doing is telling people that this person is crazy. Those things are crazy, right? And if they are crazy and you say they are crazy, there's no problem in saying that they are crazy. So sometimes I'm not gonna offend some useless person, some small fish, because really big people that matter, do not get offended in political comedy, right? But now I say that my office who are overzealous, who just carried away. Let's take example that Apostle Chwenga says ZANU-PF down Duraya. By saying that, you are saying that because you are afraid and when you are afraid, it means you have negative faith to your against. But somebody who is against ZANU-PF can kill you. People are just going to blame ZANU-PF. Take note what happened kuna Morgan Changirai just before afa. Vachitora passport, kumba varoda ma properties. You know, vachinetsa munhu ari kurwara. So we never know who is doing what, who is doing what. There are many players. I'm going to take you kunyaya mkomana yekubva kushaya. Of course, vanhu vakawanda avadunyaya dzekutaura nevanhu vakafa nezvevanhu vakafa. We got my donations at 30,000. I still to run cancer. Tamara was a very young man. I think he was less than 35 years of age. Less than 35 years of age. When I saw that GoFundMe, I was shocked. And I said to myself, hey, so it means if a person is a beggar, they will die a beggar unless they stop being a beggar. Because a beggar is somebody who is wanting handouts. Why are they a beggar? Because they cannot sustain themselves. They cannot sustain their own health, right? Those who are funding them, they cannot even support them when it comes to a matter of life and death. You know, extent it takes time. And also, when we're talking about spirit things, if you lie, right? If you lie somebody, you by just making that lie, you've created that reality. Anybody who is watching this video, try it. Call any of your relative or anybody. That is if you are a beggar, who you beg. Right? Then go to the hospital and get tested. It is as real as that. It is as real as that. So personally, my conscience, I always speak the truth, right? To get, I don't wanna get like by telling people what they want to hear by being a hypocrite. But because when I'm doing that, they feel like guilt. I'm killing myself. I'm killing my soul because kunyepa kunoturaya physically.
Okay, so doctor, I'm hearing you, and there are people who are asking for me to identify you. Dr. Clarence from TV7 Live and Buzz. Yes. You've been in the industry for a very, very long time. You do political commentary from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
The question I want to ask you next is, do you feel safe? Have you ever been threatened? Have you ever been attacked in Zimbabwe for your work? You talk about Mnangagwa, you talk about Chiwenga, you talk about anything. Have you ever been attacked?
No. They cannot touch me. They cannot touch me, those guys. Because Mnangagwa is not better than me, Chiwenga is not better than me, or anybody. And I'm also not better than anybody. Nobody's better than me, but I'm also not better than anybody. The core human sense, that spirit, this so-called God, that binds us all together. You know, it's called human sense. It is real and it is very operational, right? If somebody comes with a gun, so because andina chivi kwaari kuti akwanisa kutondishuta anofanira kutonditeya kuti ndigumbuke or ndofanira kuenda kambira ndichita or something. That power yaishandiswa nana Chaminuka, it is as real as that. Right now dai vanhu vakaine simba rekukwanisa kundiuraya ka handingadai ndikafa kudhara, because so many idiots try to fight me, try to put me down, right? And I always mention them by names, like some fool from Herald, you know, engineering things, engineering people around you, my circles, guys Rungano. You see, My family, then we have this pastors here along the Sibia, you know, engineering people just to bring somebody down. They put flash machine, they start copying things. My network is so very and I'm not even afraid of them. Why? If I'm afraid of somebody who is afraid of me, and you see, so they cannot touch me.
So, Doc,
yes,
I get you, Doc. The reason why I asked you that question is personally, my family would not allow me to come and operate in Zimbabwe. Everyone is afraid that something will happen to me and that it won't be worth anything. So do you see these people who are getting abducted as people who are brave, but who are in a system that can actually take you? For example, I want to go back. I'm not talking about abduction, I'm talking about arrests. Let's look at Strive Masiwa, Mutuma Mawere, Philip Chiangwa. I'm talking about big business people that we know. Right. They've been arrested and they spend months in jail. And when you look at yeah.
Yes.
When you look at Hopo Chingono, yes, Hopo Chingono, the way he spent 45 days in jail, in Jacob Ngarivume, don't you think that detention before trial is being used as a weapon? And then when there's no case, the state uses abduction to scare off the small fish, but then the big fish are arrested and terrorized in jail.
Can you? Am I still live for it? We wouldn't want to use the term big fish, although I personally respect some people who started the struggle, and respecting simply means I respect them on the basis that they started the struggle, or rather, according to my eyes, because we have always had a struggle. Strive Masiwa, right? I know the Christian aesthetic, and I know the one because actions around reverse psychology, playing the victim, so that it's in you, right? Right now, Strive Masiwa, I think suicide vanotara chokwadi chaasingangode kuita answer, right? Strive Masiwa, mashares are Daniel Shumba are kupi, right? Mawovet, but Daniel Shumba kafarwa mari, right? Whoa, ikoneti ndeani ndiye mZimbabweni here kana kuti old muchwawo ndiye major shareholder kweiwewe ndiwe iwewe here kana kuti unogona kunge uri Virgin Mobile yeku-UK, right? Data rachona kuZimbabwe rinodhura chekuti pano Kwese TV sustaining all those other Makwese taking money from Zimbabwe, right? You say in Zimbabwe you're taking billions out of externalizing billions. There's no money. Where are those guys getting those billions? And what are you doing? What are you doing with it? Are you who you say you are? Zimbabweans, especially those who were placed in Marizeva, high density suburb, because Harare and DZ Kwazana, all those areas are in town. Reserve areas for cheap labor, where people are dehumanized so that they keep on looking forward for a savior. That's why Zimbabwe nachiti right? With ZANU-PF, right? Arikubhadhara billions in a compensate land reform program because akarowa blackmail. No, they want the farms, they want the money, they want ownership, they want rights. Even they believe in African only deserves the Madonna 2 cents insulter.
Okay, so Doc, let me hold you there, Doc. Let me hold you, Doc.
Yes.
Don't occupy a break. I've got Kennedy Masie. Kennedy, if you can unmute your mic, I want to put you on the stream so I can give Doc a bit of a break. Kennedy, you can go ahead and speak.
Yeah, thank you. One thing, Shandaku correct doctor. One, I don't think he understands what he actually says, or even knows what he actually says or analyzes. Because my human rights violations are with Zimbabwe, my abductions, and all that stuff. There's a fake. It actually shows good. Pachaki, because one, Murume and Zimbabwe even knows as far as I'm concerned, I think we're South Africa and in India of air cons, guitar and all that stuff. Right now. Zimbabwe has had a crisis of governance. There's had a crisis of disrespecting its own laws. There's had a crisis of having a good constitution and the government not even appreciating or even respecting the minimum rights of people. People have been killed. People have disappeared. If we want to talk about disappearances and the death caused by the government, specifically the current president of Zimbabwe, we can go back to the time of Ukraine. There are over 20,000 people who were killed, who have not been accounted for to death. And the president has failed, refused, or even neglected to acknowledge that such thing happened. So if you have a government and you have people who want to know that and purport to be analysts and people who are borderline analysts, what we said, fake is actually a what you call this Zanubia for analysts. Sorry to say this, because if you don't.
So Kennedy, I agree with you. So I don't want us to attack Dr. Clarence. I want us to allow everyone to speak. He's
free to do so. I'm okay with it. It's okay. you can okay. Me. It's okay. Hello?
You have gone quiet, Kennedy. Okay, let me remove Kennedy from the stream, and Doctor, you can continue where you were.
All right. So take note the type of manipulation Joanna Kennedy. He is basically saying nothing. What he is simply doing is to manipulate the audience, the psychology. He is ZANU-PF, right? It's an irrelevant point, and I don't argue on that one because here is not sure, but it's to manipulate people. Then he says, "Van we fake." Now, mun we fake, mun antara convenience truth. I've always stood with the truth, and if you want to know what this is truth, it's in the Bible. How do you know this is the truth? Truth hurts. It is not truth, it is a lie. It is as simple as that. If the truth does not hurt, it means God lied. Right? Then he's speaking about Gukula Wundi. It is a very sad story. Right? That should be resolved. But we should not also forget who was funding it. It is Britain who was funding it. Time Tika, they were giving Mugabe awards, right? Which protect my farm, and of course, my dissidents, whichever way those things were handled, it's inhumane. It is very inhumane. It was a time of madness. Then the guy calls me an analyst because he thinks I'm like him because he's an analyst. I am not an analyst. I am a thinker. I'm a philosopher. I am a truther. Right? So what I focus on is universal truth, because there is my truth, then there's somebody else's truth, but we also have universal truth. Universal truth is people who are in a high density suburb. They've been enslaved mentally. They have beggar mentality. They don't even go to register to vote. That's why you see over the past 20 years, we still have the same people active in politics, in activism. Same people wakagara. They have their hands, they have their legs, they have their brains. Chavanongogona ndechoti ginimbi yazopinda motikari mndana ndakaona risiti rachona anga akanimbikina anga akaandachaja saka muri weifuti mari being sellouts nekudyanana cannibalism makuwa fighting each other chatinoti chivanhu ezin chihunu chinoitwa nevanhu vari evil, because kune chivanhu chetsika kuita chivanhu chinoitwa nevanhu vari evil kuti when they meet anybody they just start saying bad things. First I do
okay. Right. Doctor, I'm hearing you. So what I want to do is I want to give you a break.
Yes.
I want to play what President Mnangagwa said about these abductions. Then I want to bring you back after. So please bear with me. I'm sharing my screen so that you can all hear what President Mnangagwa said this weekend about these abductions. And I want you to listen to it.
We have people actions. When the facts come out, and Dr. Mamombe, something like that. Yeah. After 4 or 5 days, clean shit, dead guy, married, well shaven, and abducted. And the other particular embassy, a TV. What a TV. Just when I was canal. The Second Republic, you know. Savanita. The Kata, Tameka Kayaro, Tatinazo. The one around Bachimotara, Chimotown. On the Zimbabwe, when a crisis, Zimbabwe, when a crisis. Shamariang, President of South Africa. Went for never. My brother, yeah, brother. There's a lot of pressure here. Our things in Zimbabwe. But, we are very peaceful here. Because here we understand the Zimbabwe is in crisis. But, no, it's not. I want to send an envoy. Let us send the envoy. So, nobody send an envoy to be briefed. Then social media misinterprets. Because, President Ramaphosa is sending an envoy to come and investigate Zimbabwe. And they must go and see other groups and so on. No. The protocol is if a head of state sends an envoy to another head of state, the envoy carries the message from one head of state to another, and the other replies, and it is carried back, and that's what happened. The evolution of parties is a bit. Namibia, Swatma, Angola, MPLA, Zimbabwe, ZANPF. We also have Chama Pintus, Tanzania. These are the parties that were engaged in the armed struggle. We have, of course, countries like Botswana, Zambia, Malawi. So we have a forum of revolutionary parties where we continue to share the challenges as revolutionary parties as we get attacked by our detractors. So we must share the mode of attack by our detractors. So we agreed as ANC and the ZANPF that our brothers and sisters of the ANC come, we discuss with ZANPF to share the challenges and attacks on us, so you can also prepare yourselves better. Then what does social media say? ANC is coming here, not only discussing the ZANU-PF, but with this party, with that party, with this embassy, and that. They came as ANC to talk to ZANU-PF, and when they finish, they go back. So, these G40 elements peddling these falsehoods, the narratives about Zimbabwe, and then we know where they are. We have been reluctant, but now, we have an extradition treaty between Zimbabwe and South Africa. Now I'm going to give instructions to invoke that treaty so we can extradite these elements to face.
Right, so I've ended the video by Idim Nangagwa. Dr. Clarence, you heard the accusation. The first accusation was that the abduction was fake. The second accusation was that they were sitting at the American embassy, Dr. Mamombe. And the third accusation was that they're trying to get attention from international organizations and countries. And the fourth accusation is that they're being poached by G40 elements. Is this true?
About G40 elements, I cannot speak very much on that because I don't really know. But what I know about G40, before the election, we saw my images, G40, na chokozani kupe, vari ku Cape Town vachita meeting. Vese, some meeting. I don't know tiangeri meeting echi. Then we saw chokozani kupe futi, utanga utambachi, na Mnangagwa. So I cannot really talk on G40 because personally I respect Mugabe, but anyways Mugabe was not G40, right? But towards I think the last 3 years, angachinja maitiro, right? On the issue of abductions being fake. If we say fake abductions do not exist, we will be lying to ourselves. Let's say it is 50-50. Let's say there are real abductions and there are fake abductions, right? Those who make fake abductions, obviously, they will be arrested so that they do not keep doing that. Yes, we have some people who want to manipulate people, who want attention from my NGO and my international organizations, but avade munhu mutema taspai vakatadza kubatsira dzamara, right? Vanongogona kungonyora chete. Then you take note, those organizations, they don't speak on all activists. They speak kana paine ma certain people vabatwa, vamwe vanoignorewa. They speak on a few people. But pandika issue, they remain quiet. Vane avo mapon avaneta represent right now.
Okay, Doc, let me hold you there because I've got someone I want to quickly talk. I want someone to talk without him to continue after this guest. Mkomati Nokunda, can you please make your contribution quickly?
How are you, Mr. Kambakwe?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right. I just wanted to input a bit in respect of the issue of abductions. The issue Yema abductions, which we are focusing on, is the one Yema trio, the 3 MDC girls, and there was evidence which was brought into the public space in respect of that alleged abduction, and this evidence proved to a very high degree that abduction did not take place. And now that Joanna Mamombe is now coming up with the excuses of mental illnesses, I think that is suspect, and it should leave a bad taste in anyone's mouth. How then is she saying she's mentally incapable of attending court or anything? I think this is a facade. They're playing the victim. They're in a corner, and they're now looking for ways to get, I think, maybe attention, with the hope that it will affect the judgment in the upcoming trial. And it's a pity, because I don't. And one of the questions that should arise is, if she's saying she's mentally ill, then is it in the best interest of the constituency which she represents for her to continue being the MP in that constituency? Kanachiti her mental state is not where it's supposed to be, which is another question which must arise. Of course, my abductions have occurred. For example, in 2008, we know of abductions that did occur. And these are real abductions. You can't question them. They're unquestionable. They're indubitable. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be questionable, Mr. Kambako. It should be
okay.
It should be clear and straight.
Right, so Mkoma Tinokunda, I agree with you, Mkoma Tinokunda. I'm sorry I have to keep your contribution short, because obviously I want us to keep this below an hour. I've heard your point. What do you say about the president's accusation that local embassies are involved?
Do you know why he says local embassies are involved? Because you know that these embassies have provided safe houses, they provided funding, and this is public record. If you go in the MDC circles and investigate, they'll tell you why some of these abductions are staged, why some of these human rights abuses are sort of provoked and then staged, because they do get medical medical fund in the event that they are injured because of human rights violations. They get money. If they are purportedly being hunted by the state, they also get safe houses from these embassies. Specifically the United States Embassy. They've got safe houses in Harare, and this is where these people go and seek refuge and enjoy an opulent lifestyle for that period. And this is known information in the MDC circles, and most people don't know this, but this is the reality.
Right. Thank you very much, Mkoma Tinokunda. Please continue watching from the sidelines. I think, Doctor, you can continue your chain of thought about the culture of dependence among our activists and young Zimbabweans. Is it true that someone can get abducted to stay in a safe house?
Yes. Kune mabega mentality zvine mari pese paari muhospital ari kupuwa mari pese ipapo, right? Zvilamboiti jambe nyaya toenda pane nhau yanga ichitaurwa yekuti crisis muZimbabwe mune crisis here. Kune chinhu chinonzi national prosperity nepersonal prosperity. There are two different things, right? Of course, I'm telling you about credit economic growth, which is very wrong, because the entire economic system, Adam Smith, is entirely wrong. But crisis in Zimbabwe, tinema personal crisis, tinema quarter life crisis, tinema identity crisis, tinema midlife crisis, tinema psychosis. Then it's mental illness, right? Mental illness is no longer called mental illness. Stress is just now a condition, because those who invented so-called mental illness, they wanted to block spiritual people, right? Then Mnangagwa's announcement, my revolutionary party and ANC, it's highly very highly possible that they talked. Because remember, Zimbabwe, we suspended the land reform program for 10 years so that South Africa could get independence. And those guys who went to war, they made my agreements, my memorandum of agreement before the house, before constitution, before all those things, right? And just because vakaenda kuhondo kuna vanofila kuti tofanira kuramba tiripo ende kuchangoramba kuine vanhu vakaenda kuhondo even 100 years from now, still vane mavoivoti ndisi tofanira kutonga ndisita sei. So what they are doing, Mnangagwa arongochikidzira chi vanhu vanotaurisa kuti vasataurisi because zvine damage yazvinoisa upside kwake, because anenge akadzvanywa nevakomana vekubritain. Tiri panawo yokomana vekubritain, maembassy of course tinawo anoita nengirikini, maembassy anobatsira nyaya dzekufeka maabduction chichi. Why do they do that? The same reason they brought sanctions onto this country. Zimbabwe was the breadbasket of Africa in 1981, just 1 year after independence. Then everything started going down because a black man should never be self-sustainable according to them. If those guys really love us, right, they should bring back the golden statues they stole, all the artifacts they stole from Great Zimbabwe, all those articles. They should bring back mapfupa ambuyane handa vari kushandisa sechikwambo. They should bring back. Now they want compensation for the land that they stole. After mumwe wavo vakaita agreement ku Lancaster House, then this Tony Blair comes in over the ana Margaret State tiri imwe party, nditori mu-Irish and stombori mu-British, we are not going to compensate. Ndevenyu, right? So those they are so unfair. They are so unfair. What chavanoti development chi? Chavanoti development evil. It is when vakwanisa kuwana ma-rights ema-mine eland kana evakwanisa kubata zvinhu for right munyika muri kuita development kana mari dzakonsolidatewa nebanking industry dzichiiswa vachibisira mari.
Okay, so I think we're having a bit of a network challenge.
That was fought. Okay.
Right, we're having a network challenge with Dr. Clarence, and I would like us to summarize what you're saying. Yeah. But I also want to get in with a point or two. So you're saying this. The local embassies and Western embassies could be involved, but the reason being, you're saying they've got a bigger objective. How does abducting someone like Gonyeti make a difference in the bigger scheme of things?
When this COVID-19 started, I did a video. I made some prophecies. Most of them came to pass, right? And I said those guys, they want us to fight. They want us to seem like we cannot manage ourselves. Before Kumali, we came from Mali, from blood Raman Samusa, right? We are the Mbende people from Mali Empire. Mali yakata coup manje. Less than 2 years later coup. They're just fueling those fights to make it seem like we cannot manage ourselves so that they can come and interfere. No matter what we do, that is their agenda. Take note, kuti vakomana vanofaiwa kuZANU-PF. Panotangwa uimtodi. And I taurisa ku-information. Kuti kucheneswe, right? Kunzi ku-health, kunzi kuchichi strategic. Right now, kune vanhu vari kuinterviewa mukomana vanonzi Gideon Gono, achimumanipulator. Kuti abuditse certain information for certain news. And if you take a look, my minister Sakafaiwa, it is after a professor of social media, Jonathan Moyati, Mnanga Wakasafaya, Ringidofu, Nanga who say, Bachifayo, Minister of Health, Obadiah Moyo. Can I buy my dealer whatever it is, the minister? I'm not gonna send it a same applies kunyaya obetim pofu yanga embo ni natemba mlisko parliament, right? Seka whoever kurusa nyaya hiyo is wasting time focusing on munhu vanozoti achangono akwitwa the same way yakangobuda nyaya yaningirikeni because he's just a minister. Asiri PMC, asiri under paperwork. In the asiri akatomo benefit agana send. And he cannot resist firing. At the same time.
Okay. Right, Doctor, I want to give you another break. I want to add Innocent here to talk. And Innocent, you're welcome to talk. I'm just going to unmute your mic. Please observe the etiquette. We've got our mothers and fathers watching.
It's all right. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
That's really wonderful. I think the situation in Zimbabwe is really terrible. That we see most of these guys who are abducting people, their main aim is to catch, they're using the catch and release to throw fear to the masses. It's true to mention this. And, it is politics. It is the game of politics to garner support as we are going for the elections in 2023. And we know that everybody is just in need of being at an advantage. I'm not in support of the ruling class or ruling party or the opposition, but I think this is a disease, quite a pathology to the politics in Zimbabwe, that many of these political parties, they are just trying to be on an advantage, which is quite wrong. On abductions, I really conclude that they are real and they affect the population. They reduce the public confidence. It affects the economics of the nation, and it is prevalent. We see that all these individuals who are being abducted, they are not small people. They are people who have got influence in the community. Just commenting on Gonyeti. Gonyeti is an influencer, and it really threw even fear on social media. The participation, actually, the competition to participate on social media is now what is happening in Zimbabwe. That all these political parties and the members, they are competing to be known on social media. As we see that social media is garnering, a lot of influence towards the politics. So what I'd like to say is all the political party, actually the politics in Zimbabwe currently is a little bit dirty. It needs to be sanitized. And it's really scary. Who really knows who is going to survive out of these, abductions? We don't even know how they abduct or what they inject. Many people are in fear, even if they release. Who knows? We are hearing about these injections and chemicals, but we love our nation. Right. What we really expect is...
Innocent, you made an important point about injections, and I want to park that discussion. So I want you to continue listening from the stream.
All right.
Because we're getting feedback. So thank you very much for the contribution.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gambagwe.
Right. So, Dr. Clarence, you have heard Innocent there.
Yes.
He thinks the abductions are real. He thinks we are not correct to say Gonyeti is a nobody. She's an influencer with a lot of following. And in the world of social media, if she says something, it's important enough for the people that know, not us, but the people that analyze things, for them to abduct it. Is that correct?
I would answer that with the question, which what has she really said? Because she has just made parodies of things that have already happened. She hasn't really given any opinion or any food of thought. She just repeats what happened yesterday.
Okay, but the question is, the people that are abducting, are they trying to send a message to a large audience? Not necessarily about what she said, but they're telling you that if you do this, we're going to come after you.
Yes.
This is what Innocent is saying.
I want to wait. Okay, yeah. Yes.
So do you think that that point makes sense? That all these abductions that we're seeing is a message being sent through social media influencers?
All right. For those guys, those ZANU-PF guys to be in power, they are not fools. It is not accident. Vanima professor, anogara pasi analyzer. I'll give it back to you and to everybody who's watching this video. If you were a ZANU-PF strategist, would you abduct someone like Gonyeti? Anybody? Would they do that? There's a ZANU-PF are stupid. Havana brain. It is actually lying to ourselves. Then I'm going to take you back to 2013. If you search for Google, Dr. Clarence Baba Jukwa, right? I think some man in 2013. Baba Jukwa, right? Dr. Clarence has been arrested, accused of being Baba Jukwa, right? I was never arrested based on those issues. I was arrested on some other issue, and it's only that I was arrested because St. Mary's police station, one overzealous Mapurisa, they just want to exercise power over people who are bigger than them. So I understand it, but it was another issue. Baba Jukwa, Dr. Clarence has been arrested, accused of being Baba Jukwa, but it never happened, right? Then there is some truth. Mnanga kwa bana mula ashiti mapete, ashiti mmochari munotonorera. Take note that I just say. Arikushotesa, arikupenda stupidity, arikuita urudu. That is the trick. Ye power. Take a look at Passion Java, what he does. Stupidity. Take a look at Donald Trump, what he does. Zino makisa, zino nyadzisa, zino shoresa, chibaranzi. Ndo chinoendesa munhu kumberi. If you go ikana trending pa social media is right now, and pana jama stanabula sanafika hembe. Why? Chino chinonyadzisa. Then the Bible says Mwari anosimudza marombe kubva muguruva, anozvidzikisa pasi achasimudzwa. It is simply that in the music fraternity, Jah plays the rules. Why? He invests, he doesn't look for money in the music. No, he uses money to make music. He doesn't work for money, he uses money. Right? You see Mnanga pa campaign, this next after the election, Mamona have to open a company, some grant. Why? Why? Because to win an election, you don't need to be loved by the people. People actually have to hate you so that you can win. That is why when people are voting, they put an X. If you are hated, that's how you go far. You don't go far by building friends. No, it's impossible. You go far by building enemies, not friends. Everybody who is going far right now in Zimbabwe, they are not going far because they are building friends. No, they are building so that people, it is a truth. So the election result is a reflection of the will of the people. Reflection simply means the will of the people is here. You put a mirror there. The reflection, that is the election result. So if more people hate Mnangagwa, he wins because they hate him, because God then puts him there. Why is God doing that? God is just opposing people so that they do not put their faith in any person.
Right. Dr. Clarence, this is very interesting, and I want us to bring this to an end. But before I bring it to an end, we obviously have to answer this question that we raised. Is Joanna Mamombe faking mental illness? But before I let you answer that question, I want to play a clip for you, a short clip, 30 seconds, so that you can get context of what point I'm trying to make here.
Are of a view that Zimbabweans must take a lead themselves, particularly young people from Zimbabwe. We suggested to them they need to blockade the Bedbridge border gate for 2 days. If we can blockade border gate of Zimbabwe for 2 days, there will not be toilet paper in Zimbabwe. And the people of Zimbabwe will see the need to rise against Mnangagwa's failure to lead them properly. But it can't be us. It must be Zimbabweans.
Right. Doc, the reason why I played that clip is I wanted you to get the context.
The audio. I wasn't hearing the audio.
I apologize. I hope the rest of the people were hearing it. It was Julius Malema saying Zimbabweans must do it themselves. They must not wait for South Africans to do it. Do you think the opposition in Zimbabwe is too much focused on external intervention and they lack a strategy internally to not to remove Mnangagwa, but to bring change? So the first point is, do they look outside too much? And the second point is there too much focus on removing Mnangagwa compared to bringing change?
Yes.
Yeah, so I asked you two questions there as we end.
Right. Once again, national prosperity is different from personal prosperity, right? People should focus on their personal prosperity, not just sit. Then in Zimbabwe, we do not have an opposition party. We have a ruling party and some parties that are ruling with the ruling party. That is the truth. And anybody who denies that will just be lying to themselves. On the issue of Joanna Mamombe, claiming mental illness, that is the evidence that she faked. That is why she is claiming mental illness. Of course, we're going to understand, we're going to feel pity, because faking mental illness, kunyepedzera kupenga, ndo kupenga kwachona. Vanhu vanopenga vanonyepedzera vese, kunyepedzera kupenga is the madness. If you ask a psychiatrist, if you ask a doctor, they will tell you the same words. Munhu anopenga anenge achiziva zvakuita. That's why vakomana veMamiracles chavanongoita vanongotora benzi vobva vaita sei, vobva vamugezisa vompa suit nyowani aitika miracle, and ndo miracle yachona, nothing else. Ndoitori miracle, kunyepedzera kupenga, kupenga, right? So we're going to sympathize with her to really show that she is really sincere. She also has to resign. Unless it's not a problem. But that is the same strategy. Millions that company inobata mari dzevasenzi dzemaslaves. Yes, NASA. Company inobata mari dzemaslaves with a nice name, anonzi employees. And this same strategy. Same strategy. You are doing the same strategy. In Zimbabwe, there is no opposition party. There is a ruling party and a party that is ruling with the ruling party. We should stand together as Zimbabweans, like Pakaitka GNU. The external forces, they do not want a GNU. They want to come and run things. That is why they don't like Nelson Chamisa. Because Nelson Chamisa got close to Changirai, got close to Mugabe in that GNU. That is why they don't even talk about him. That is why when he comes, achitaura mashoko ekuvaka, achitaura mashoko ane ukuru, atakwa. They are looking for ways to remove him from the picture. They don't like him. They don't like him. Why? Because he now has Mugabe ideology. You have to stand the truth. You see, so let us focus on. Yes.
Right. So let's answer this question. We've said, you said the evidence that Joanna Mamombe faked the abduction is that she's faking mental illness. Of course, there's going to be 2 doctors examining her according to the court ruling. And
yes,
I just want to go to the point of Zimbabweans and their desire for the removal of a president. Is it normal that every time it's about removing a person without a strategy for what to do afterwards?
Yeah, it is not normal. We need to change the entire system, and our number one enemy is money and banks. That is our number one enemy. Those guys, whatever they are doing what they are doing for their own benefit because of those papers with ink. Because those papers with ink, they are not really money. They're just papers with ink. And those guys, professor, mathematician, they don't know anything. They don't know real life. They don't know real life. I listened to this guy, Gideon Gono. I tell now we value your life. Could inflation iri kumari ko upenyu wemunhu warasika value yachona. What do people have? We do not want to see numbers in RBZ, a bank which we don't own and a bank which is not owned by Zimbabwe, because stakeholders, they have a stake. Personally, I do not have a stake in RBZ, right? So it is really not Zimbabwe's bank. That is the truth. People have no money. What they have is numbers in their phones. So fellow Zimbabweans should be productive. We should be united as a people. Isusu ndisi tune solution yedu. We are a pink ana solution yedu, because they have never given us a solution. Remember my drama parafina act achiti mari kunetsa mapirizi maana dhinwa ari kudhura achineswa nana mahobo futi muchipatara. Those days, right? This is now COVID-19. Zvanga zviriko munguva yemukondombera. CBW program vakomana pavakaisa makolera matyphoid 1978, then they repeated it pavakatipa masanctions apo konisa matyphoid kutonisa makolera, and we have vanhu vanoita deny it. Then on the issue ya Joanna Mamombe, my so-called doctors, people go to school to be abducted, right? Vakatadza kudiagnose mumwe munhu, ndikadiagnose munhu ndisina mubvira ndamuona kusvikira ndapa treatment chaiwa. Uyu munhu akarwa nelipophilic chichi andinotaura zita zvangu, right? After vatadza kumurapa, rapai munhu nechelation therapy ndiri kumba, but madoctor that's why madoctor emuZimbabwe avarape havana zvavanomborapa. That's why tichiexport tichiendesa vanhu kunorapwa kunze. Shete vari kuite chii kumauniversity ikoko.
Right. So Dr. Clarence, I've really enjoyed talking to you over the past hour, and I think the point that I wanted to end with is, how do we get out of this situation? The opposition is saying the government is abusing us, and the government is saying you are faking abductions, you want to remove us. Is there a need for dialogue? And how can we change the system? You say the system is a problem.
Zimbabweans, we have to come together, right, and build a team of friends and rivals. We need to have a code of conduct, our own little red book, right? Remember values that we are going to follow together as a nation, as a people. To work with somebody, you don't need to like somebody. We just have to work together for the good of our nation, for the good of the black men. Remember when those people with white nose, when they came to Africa, they took our cattle. They did not keep the cattle. They did not keep all those livestock they took. No. Why vakauraya zvipuka zvevanhu vatema zvavaka? It is because vaida kuti munhu mutema asenze mumunda, because munhu mutema, especially muZimbabwe, ane blessing. That's why you see muZimbabwe kwese kwaanoenda anosiconnecta boss. Ingave sport, ingave competition singing, muZimbabwe anosiconnecta #1, because we have it in our blood. It is in our blood. That's why tatiri mono wemtapa, the masters of land. We are a blessed people. It is in us. Murungu akwanise kusurvive pasina munhu mutema kuti mumunda make mukowewe anywhere in the world panofana hange paine muZimbabwean. That's why they import zvikwambo vanoti zvikwambo and exploit us. And when people come back home, they come back home with nothing. We have to put our heads together and work together to build our Africa. Murungu chunja anogona kuita takatochiona, anogona kutiisa munengekeni muma high density suburb, mekuti mwana wako agone kunoswimira nyika chaika zvitana Kesti Covent vari kuma group A school, agone kunotambira nyika cricket, mwana wako achangoramba achitamba chikweshe, acha inherit that poverty, because we were compartmentalized so that maslaves anoramba achizvana vanosenzerwa vanoramba vachizvana namaslaves achangoramba ari maslave. So those who gonna think Dr. Clarence anotaura nonsense, it's okay. Keep seated kumba, rambai makarara makamira kuti munanga gwachabva kuchaiwe savior, right? But what we need to do is to come together right now and start being productive right now. And vakomana vemabank vari kumisa productivity. We can win over them. We can start a private currency. Yedu tega atirambidzwe gold-based money. Atirambidzwe na anybody. Anda kutirambidza iyeye imandu yedu. Let us just begin trading and know that those papers called the US dollars, they are not backed by anything. They are backed by people's belief in it. They need you to believe in it. Alright, munhu mutema akapusa. Vanhu vatema vaichengetesa miti, vaichengeta zvino izvi kune global warming. Saka tiri matsaga here isusu taichengeta nature. Let us believe in ourselves. That is the message.
Right. I think, Doctor, I want us to end it at that point. And I want to summarize the key points that you've made. And the first point that I liked, which you made, was that we've got a certain mentality as Zimbabweans, the beggar mentality. And this is causing people to want attention so that they can make money without working. And then you said the case of Joanna is a strange case because she already faked mental illness, which is an admission. And you say that the fact that there are very smart people in ZANU-PF, they would not go on and abduct people that are of no consequence. So if you look at people like Gonyeti, you gave an example there that she's not an important person to abduct. Then you also said the foreign embassies, they could be involved because they want to come in and take over, and they can only take over when the revolutionary parties like ZANU-PF have left. So these are opinions that you gave. And then we also had callers who said, I had one caller, Innocent, who said the abduction was real, and they abduct these people who are famous because social media is based on being an influencer, not on popularity on the ground. So I think at the end of the day, your conclusion is that Joanna Mamombe is faking illness, mental illness, and she also faked the abduction. And we need to come together as Zimbabweans so that we can fix our country. And I think we've lost Dr. Clarence there. And unfortunately, okay, you're back, Dr. Clarence. And so you said she faked the abduction, and the Zimbabweans who must come together and work on a new type of system because we're a blessed people.
Yes.
You didn't answer my question on dialogue, and I want us to end with that question. Do you think there should be a dialogue between Chamisa and Mnangagwa?
Yeah, there should be dialogue between Chamisa and Mnangagwa, but those people that everybody worships, the British and the Americans, they don't like a dialogue between Chamisa and Mnangagwa. They don't want the black man, the Zimbabwean, to prosper by himself. They will never accept it. That is why actually most hypocrites around Nelson Chamisa are always blackmailing him and stopping him from dialogue. Because people will just believe in Peter. What matters is what we believe in. What we believe in is what happens. Doing on the faith. Faith works whether you believe in it or you don't believe it. The truth is always the truth.
Okay. Dr. Clarence, I have really enjoyed talking to you for the past 1 hour and 13 minutes. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Gambakwe Media, and we're also live on your channel, TV7, Live and Bars. And I really enjoyed everyone who has joined us here. This is an interesting topic. And I feel that, personally, I want things to go well in Zimbabwe. I want to be able to work in Zimbabwe. I want young people to have opportunity. And young people don't have opportunity. So although we are talking about these small issues of abduction, and they look small, they look like one person here. But I think 16 million people have already been abducted by the situation. So it's really sad, because there are people now who are in their 40s who don't have a house. Whereas if you come down to South Africa A normal 25-year-old has a house, they've got a car, they've got money in their bank, they are not struggling. But in Zimbabwe, you can't withdraw cash, you don't have opportunity. So there's a solution that is required so that people's lives can be normal again. And I guess this is where we are all. That's why everyone is always looking for solutions. Dr. Clarence, is there anything you want to say before we close?
Yeah, I'm just gonna respond to some comments. Anyways, to those who are comment, guys, I'm not bitter. I'm just gonna respond to Kwamuri Nechokwadi when we were saying Dr. Clarence is stupid, Dr. Uyuchuzano stupid. So basically, stupid tuka murungo tuka muna zvamuri kutaura insult zviri vulgar. So basically, vari kunyora they're just showing what is inside their brains. And what I can do is simply pity them. They are universal truths, things that are there. And when we deny them, so that one says, Clarence lacks clarity. Actually, my name is Clarence for clarity. It is actually clarity. I'm a very, very highly intelligent person. And I know that because I am a self-aware person. So this one says, let doctors do the diagnosis, not social media. Like Rose, that is a very good comment. So if you're gonna research from a doctor you trust, ask the doctor kuti kana munhu achipenga haanyepedzere kupenga here. It is actually a truth. And that's what this one says. Is Dr. Clarence really a doctor? He has no clue. According to him, I'm past a doctor. I'm a philosopher. I'm a thinker. Then this says Mbanje Doc Avo. There's nothing wrong about Mbanje. Gift Side says he's drunk. Anyways, I do not drink beer, but I can drink beer. But beer ririko kuchivano. Neku church anozono amene vanotipadzira chirungu. But beer ririko kwese. Beer rana kumboipa. Tinokunda mabhunu. All those guys. Thank you guys for your comments. Now, manyora ma comments enyu. I'm going to unsubscribe from Dr. Clarence channel. Well, what I do not need anybody's blessing because I believe in a higher power. That is why I always stand for the truth. And those who are trying to influence people to turn against me, you cannot do that. The simple fact that you are where you are, to those who are saying that, it simply means kuti nasimba. That's why I could need to kurisa maburu, because in Njuma, Manjuma knows I need to analyze maburu. For things to go forward, we need to sit together as Zimbabweans. We do not need that organization, the United Nations, Kubvisa. Then Chimurenga Chive says, Doctor Webwa, a dog is a man's best friend. If you reverse a dog, we get God is also a man's best friend. Wife Manaye Mugaden of Eden. To those guys, do not sit. Labor is a means of production. Do something with your hands. Those that are going to wait, they will keep on waiting until they stop waiting. There are more poor people in the United States of America than in Africa combined. There are more poor people in United Kingdom than in Zimbabwe. Kana wachitida ngavambodzosa mapfupa amboyane handa vodzosa magoridhe avakaba paGreat Zimbabwe, all those things. Then we start from there. All right.
Right, Dr. Clarence, thank you very much for joining us today. It's my first time to have you live on Gambako Media, and it's my first time on your platform, TV7 Live and Buzz. And many people don't know that you started, most of the people who are live in Zimbabwe today are following your example. Yes. You were the first person, I think way back in 2015, you had already started. Your channel has the biggest following of all channels in Zimbabwe. There is no channel right now which has got more following than Dr. Clarence channel. So I'm really honored and humbled to be on your channel. And I thank you very much for taking your time to talk to me And I also want to
thank you
comment
very
on
much.
people.
Yeah, it is not my power, it is God.
Yes. I also want to comment on people who are saying this is a ZANU-PF sponsored discussion. And I want to say that to me personally, I want to give everyone a platform to say whatever they want. And I think Zimbabweans are too polarized. They are too much into political parties, MDC or ZANU-PF. And I think we need to change that mentality, and we need to think as Zimbabweans. When we go to vote, we go and vote for MDC or ZANU-PF. But when we come back, we must have something in common as a nation. Because right now, I don't think people know that after the elections, you must stop Zema elections and start living and start cooperating. A ZANU-PF guy must come and cooperate with the MDC guy, and they create a company and they work together because they are all in the same space. I don't think people understand this. You want to be always, I'm MDC or I'm ZANU-PF. It will never take you anywhere. And this is my last comment on this. Doctor, thank you very much. And let's not keep the people here for longer than necessary. Many people want to sleep. Thank you very much, Doctor. And I would like to ask people to join and subscribe your channel, TV7 Live and Buzz on YouTube. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Oh, okay.
Thank you. And to all the guests on YouTube, Facebook, and Dr. Clarence channel, good night.